Timmy's like, come here.
Friendship circle, guy.
All right. All right. Half guard in the positional hierarchy. All right, is guard, half guard, side control, and all your mounts. Okay. Yet it used to be considered inferior to guard. Yet it is become a one of the more common ways to deal with an aggressive opponent. Okay, so what am I doing? What is half guard? Half guard is a two-part exercise. Okay, meaning I have two areas of
No idea.
of the game that I have to be aware of. And the first one is down here at the legs. And so there's a lot of variations of half guard. All right, but in its most general terms is my legs are wrapped around one of his legs, okay? And that's the accepted version of it, except I want you guys to be a little bit more knowledgeable in that. Let's say he's standing. Technically, that's what this is too, but there is, yeah, no control would be a better way. This is a good way to go to sleep. But what's the difference? What's happening here?
No knee line.
You don't have control of the knee.
That's right. And so it's the knee that I have to be the most concerned with. Now these are both extremes, all right, but we have to be aware of it even in the small field. So if his knee is just outside this knee line here, okay, if I don't understand that, all right, and I'm like, well, close enough, this can set me up for big problems, namely the one to do it, what you want to do, will send me into this position right here.
Do it.
No, I'm hurt. I would, but I'm hurt. Alright, who wants to do it?
All right, so if that knee comes outside of my legs, I can't say close enough is good enough. Okay, I have to understand that that is detrimental. Now, there's a couple ways that people deal with this. One of them, most common, and you'll see this in every other school, is one of the most common ways to play jiu-jitsu is be on bottom and put their knee here. But I'll never teach you to do that because there is a fundamental flaw in this that will eventually cost you once the rest of jiu-jitsu catches up. All right? So I went from here to here, and this feels great. I'll tell you, I can hold back any size guy with this knee, and if his mindset is only to pass here, all right, like try to get around my legs, this is extremely difficult for him to deal with. Okay? But if he changes his strategy, all right, he says, oh man, I'm going to go right for the heel hook here, okay, it becomes very, very hard to deal with. Okay.
I believe.
So, all right.
He's not a leg locker anymore, too.
He is a leg
You
locker.
humbled me.
We're all everything. We're all whatever we need to be to win. All right. Have no bias toward any technique. Technique is a tool. Like I'll sit there and go, man, this wrench is what makes me great. All right. No, it's my ability to use the wrench. Right. So I can throw a wrench at a line, and the line can't use that. All right. That dude's gonna throw a wrench at me. All right. So I play a more traditional half here, okay? But because I understand the knee line, I'll do what I can to keep that knee in case. So my legs are active here, okay? Because look, I can't stop him from pulling his knee out of here, but I can slow it the fuck down, okay? So that it gives me time to deal with it. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay? Does that make sense? This is more involved than when the way I learned half guard, but it's essential to understand the difference. I no longer have something that can competently defend me once I lose control of that knee. Does that make sense? Okay. If I use a frame to block him from moving forward, it's great if his only goal is to move forward. The problem is you're going to run into guys who aren't trying to move forward. They'll break your fucking leg. It's not common. So if you watch a lot of jiu-jitsu, you'll see it, and you'll get false positives in your head, like, wow, that knee throw was something else. I used it for many years. All right, until there was you don't know it, but there was a big revolution inside of jiu-jitsu that changed a lot of things for me, okay? And I don't want to teach you a technique that'll work for a long time, and then all of a sudden your jiu-jitsu is worthless, okay? Because I rolled with guys who could jiu-jitsu much, much longer than me, and they would use the old stuff that didn't account for the new stuff, and they weren't even hard. I would just break their leg. Well, it didn't really count because it's a leg lock. What fucking planet are you on? I mean, I want my leg intact when I'm fighting. All right?
You tapped.
Yeah, you tap. You're like, well, it was just a leg lock.
You tapped.
What the fuck does that mean? I mean, you can do it again. And I would do it again. All right? It was repeatable. Okay? So, which does not make me a lot of friends. Okay? And I'll tell you, in the jiu-jitsu community, I am not like, Kirk's just a really good guy. I really like that guy. Okay. I don't know if y'all caught that.
They all love you.
Along the way. All right. So I keep that knee because I need to make sure that I can do it. Now, what's it doing for me? What's the knee doing for me here? Why is
Keeping him from progressing.
progressing toward my head, my arms? Like if I don't have this here, I'm just laying here. All right, then he can just run around me like a crazy person and look for all kinds of submissions, right? And so the idea of the guard is to limit his ability to angle in certain ways. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right, so there is some value to it, but we must understand when we've lost that value. All right, because being able to stop you from angling but not stopping a back step to 411 is a terrible plan, okay? So I want to stop here because I want you to get into half and really understand this concept to create that fine tuning where don't worry about the upper body yet. I'm just worried about keeping this together. We're going to talk about the upper body at length here because really that's the important part. All right, but I need you to understand, and I want your partner to stand up, okay, and get his knee out of there, and you to acknowledge that and deal with it in whatever way that you see fit. Okay? Does that make sense? All right, weird drill, but it's important. I just want you to do that once or twice with your partner and get right back to the middle because I got some more nerding to do. All right, and it's going to set the tone for the rest of the week. Okay? That makes sense?
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
Here, yeah.
As soon as that happens, you gotta
Well,
run.
guys,
Just one and a half guards trying to get the knee out, right?
Yeah, that's it. It's going to come out, guys. If he stands up, you're going to lose the knee. You better have a game plan. What's your game plan here? Oh, shit, okay.
I'm so sorry. That was really good.
That was a really good game plan. All right.
Oh, fuck. Okay. No, at first.
I forgot when I talked to Courtney, it's go time. Fucking go
My
time.
boys are almost gone.
It's not, unless you like stand still.
What? What boy?
My boys.
Stand up and wait. Then I can go here. See that? But if you don't stand
What
still.
about your waiters?
I don't know that one either.
Kirk,
I don't know either.
is
Yeah,
there
look for
a
something.
way for me to go? Yes. Or is it, am I just thinking a little bit too much?
Okay.
In fact, it's the basis of reverse delahiva is that entire. Look, why is he standing in front of you like a maniac? Because he doesn't want to be in your half guard. If you recognize you lose it, you can respond to it. Okay? I never get tired of Diet Dr. Pepper. It is just delicious.
I don't know what that is.
Huh?
I don't know what that is. That is useless.
Is there still a heat up?
That is a shitty regular deli diva, yes.
Salt in the wound.
So,
Go ahead. One plow.
You want to try?
it's
No, but I couldn't. I wasn't resisting.
Really had no idea what boys are you losing?
Idea. My testicles.
Oh, you're getting them snipped?
No, she almost came down on me.
Oh,
oh, you're getting snipped.
I was so happy for you. Congratulations.
Switch to Andy.
What? You'll be a grandpa later in life, like, hey.
What's up, Carter? I'm here.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
So here's a misconception. We think that if I bring my foot closer here, that that circuit will be tighter.
Just unhitch this part together. Oh, that was
More tightness. Okay? Here.
You have the unhook down, the well side.
Pick me that way.
I'm doing
You're correct.
So that's kind of where Courtney's going.
This has to
Yeah.
Inadvertently.
here, both of
Yeah, I
them.
knew that foot right up there.
So I guess that's the response that who's gonna ask you like that, right? They came down this.
Yeah. But you gotta recognize the talent. Believe it or not, it costs you more than
Yeah. Instead of like going.
All right, guys, let's meet in the middle. I'm actually super stoked at your understanding of what's happening here. If this can translate into a roll, this will save you a lot of being underneath somebody, because when we only think of half guard as the leg between my legs, all right, so if we only think about, I'm so sorry, that's the right spot, right? All right, so if I only think of that, I don't see when it's actually failed. And it's actually failed whenever that knee comes out of my legs. And if I respond correctly, you'll see that a lot of opportunities show up. All right, Ashis and all kinds of things. Okay, and later on, as you progress, you'll learn top shelf stuff like lost guard. All right, so if I capture that knee and I'm able to keep it, then I have to have a half guard plan, right? And so it's a confusing plan, but we have to understand what happens here is I've captured the knee. He's elected not to elevate here, and now we have to have the real fight. Okay, I've slowed his ability to move around me. I've even slowed his ability to pressure into me. All right, but now we have to have the important fight here, and you must understand what is happening here, because in a fist fight, this can be very dangerous. All right. So again, like I said, if I put my knee shield here, I can feel a false sense of security here, but in a fist fight, he can absolutely reach my face, and I've seen that way more than once, okay? So, against your instincts, keep that knee trapped, and your hands need to be on the inside. All right, what do I mean by the inside here? Think of his body, his arms, the back of his arms are the outside, and then this is the inside here, okay? Now you'll notice that I'm keeping my hands focused on one arm here, and there's a very good reason for that, is because this arm, if he punches me, all right, can be devastating, but also there's not a lot of good responses just to him punching. But if he ever raises his right arm here, he gives me an opportunity to capitalize on this. Okay? All right? So my posture in half guard is what? What are some of the key points here, William?
Keeping your hands.
All right, before that, what's the first thing I gotta think about?
You have,
inside.
Is his knee at the knee line?
I was about to.
Right. Is his knee in?
No.
Is his knee in the knee line so I don't get leg locked? All right. Second, are my hands on the inside? My hands are, if they're all the way out here, okay, this isn't a good time, y'all. All right. Let's get into that. All right. So keep your hands here. All right. This time, so if he pulls that arm back to punch you in the face, all right, I've got two hands to block. Make sense? All right. if this hand, all right, we go to the underhook. All right, I don't want to talk about what to do with the underhook. I just want to give you a posture for half guard. Okay. So my default setting, I have the knee line. If I don't have the knee line, I better respond appropriately, right?
Yeah.
If I do have the knee line, I need to be on the inside of his arms here so that I can manage him. So even in jiu-jitsu where they can't punch me, there are mechanical reasons to keep my hand on the inside. All right, if you were to de-elevate here and try to smash me here, smash. All right, keeping my hands on the inside allow me access to the places he doesn't want me to touch. Okay, all right. Sort of like that one time with my uncle. So I stay on the inside of his hands here, right? Okay. So we've accounted for the knee. We've accounted for our hands and our posture. The next thing I want to account for is my head. All right. If my head is across his zero line, what's the zero line?
The center of the.
Center of his body. We have bilateral symmetry. If I cut a guy in half, it'd be a lot of fun, but there'd be this side and this side would look eerily similar, right? If I cut him in his waist, it would be two different things, right? So, for whatever purpose, I want it to be symmetrical. And so that's the zero line that I'm referencing, all right? If my head is across the zero line from where my legs are, all right, it becomes, it puts me in danger of getting my head captured, okay? If my head is on this side of the zero line and he tries to come for my head here, it becomes extremely hard. Does that make sense? All right, so I want to keep my hands on the inside and my head on this side of the zero. Make sense? Okay. So this is my basic posture here. What are some of the key points, Julian? Keeping the knee line.
And the hands.
Inside. What about the hands?
Keeping
Both of them where?
Inside.
Inside.
Yeah.
All right. What about my head? Where should I keep
Away
it?
from the
Never
zero.
away
Other
from
side
the
of the
zero.
zero line.
Yeah, on the same side as the zero as my legs. Sorry. All right. Very good. All right. So that's basic posture and half guard. All right. Now we have to talk about our opponent's posture. All right. Is he sitting straight up, or is he smashing down on top of me? Okay. Those are your two most common. All right. And so the very first thing that we have to account for is if I'm in this space here, and his hand, or he's elevated too far back here, there's not a whole lot that's available to me. Yes, there's a 10th planet style attack here. The problem is if he cross faces and sprawls right here, I will die. And I don't get to go back to zero. He will beat my ass. You understand? So those of you, everyone goes through this little 10th planet phase. I like a lot of it, but there's a couple things that I'll have to burn your fingertips to get you to stop doing, because it'll get you hurt in a fight. Okay, if I have no frame between me and him, and I put my hand underneath his leg, and he sits back on my hand here, yeah, okay, bad things are gonna happen to my face, all right, and it's ugly enough as it is, all right. So I have to account for his posture, and the very first posture I have to account for is him sitting back like this. All right, if I try to shoot for an underhook or do something on this side of the leg or shoot for this underhook or even control him, I'm gonna have a bad time. All right, so here's the rule of thumb: when there's space between me and him, I'm gonna fill it. You see that? Now if he tries to close space here, all right, there's a knee in his way. All right. This looks very similar to the knee shield, correct?
Yes.
But there's a big mechanical difference. No, a good knee shield would be up here. What is the mechanical difference? What's on the inside? Okay, so if you were to try to drop back into a leg lock here,
It's a trap.
it is. It's absolutely a trap. Is that your hurt one?
No, the one that's hurt is
I mean,
in the
they're both
brace.
hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so. Knee pitch, hands on the inside, head at least hovering around the zero. But now I got too much space here. I can't even touch him here. Alright? The answer is not to go like this, because what happens when I do this?
You cross the zero.
There's like, yeah, I cross the zero in my head. My underhook, yes, my underhook is Scheiße. Alright, that's shit in German. In case you couldn't figure that out. Alright, and I'll tell you, a lot of people do this. It's wrong. It'll get you problems. My suggestion on dealing with this space is a small shrimp and putting a butterfly hook in. Alright, if I forget, the face of my father here, and I get into this position in a fight, I'm like, what am I supposed to do here? There is an alternate option, okay? I don't want you to do it tonight, because I don't want to look over and see people flying. But if I get to this position, I can put my foot on his chest and launch him into outer space, okay? And then come on top, all right? I don't want to look over and see what somebody's flying across. But in a fist fight, I don't allow him that space either, all right? So we establish half guard, right? I'm minding my P's and Q's, and what's he do? He postures back. I don't allow him. I'm going to fill that space. All right, we're going to talk about butterfly guard this week, and that's what this is called. And you're going to end up loving this eventually because it creates a scenario that now I can actually reach underneath this leg. If he tries to sprawl out on me, it's really unfortunate. Okay, for him. It's really fortunate for me. Make sense?
Yes.
All right. So what I want us to do is stop and allow you guys to deal with the space in half guard. You must learn to deal with this because if he feels like you're getting an advantage and he's crushing you, he will pull back and then what? In a fist fight, he'll punch you in the eye and then come right back and crush you. But what they'll do is this. Let's say I start building my underhook here. All right? He's squashing me. I build my underhook. What's he do? I start getting it good. He backs out. Fine. Okay? I'm not going to chase him. I'm going to let him create the space he wants and then put something in that space. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay? All right, let's do this 2 or 3 times, and then we're going to overview 2 more postures. Okay? Let's do it. Guys who are new, this is an incredibly advanced class right now, but I'm recording it for a reason. Go back and look at that thing and pick out every detail you can. I wish somebody would have given me this from the beginning because it would have saved me years of getting smacked. Okay?
I love that roll.
Yeah, he's gonna chase it. Yes.
What, Michael?
Yes.
Just like that.
Okay.
That's right. So you see that? That's a natural thing that happens all the time. And we're like, well, I'm gonna chase that underhook.
Been dealing with that shit for a long time. What to do.
Nobody fucking taught me shit. I was like, man, every time I get that underhook, I get killed. And they're like, you just gotta keep rolling, bro. That was my end. That's the answer to him.
Kurt, what happens if the foot is not in? Right, you're
I'm gonna sit right into a leg lock.
I'm making sure, Julian. Courtney's technique, what? Okay, I know you're not supposed to do that.
You okay?
Yeah,
I'm tough.
Don't go for the heel right there. Okay? Look, when you get it a lot, sure, but not every time. Okay. And so I want you to go deep. I want you to get closer to 411 and 50 or deeper.
You've done that many times.
No!
Alright, one more time.
Post it there, man.
That's space, right?
Yeah.
So what do? There you go. Well, if you went all the way to up fight, and that's an option. In fact,
It's an option in Flutter Half that I take a lot of times. Okay, but that frame in your hip it's creating space, not limiting space. Does that make sense? If you're in Flutter Half, go regular half guard.
Yeah.
So you create space with that frame, right? Yes. That's what she needs to create the Flutter Half. So go ahead and create Flutter Half. That's it. That's it. Okay.
Don't come back here. I'll come back back out. You're here.
Great. Now, Thesis will fill me in more.
All right, guys. That's enough for now. We got to move on. Remember, this is being recorded not for anyone else but people here. But I want you to be able to go back when you're at work or whatever people do that don't have a kung fu school. All right, and learn. Or if you miss a day, you can always go back and take a look. Or man, I had a problem in half guard. What did fucking that crazy dude say about it? All right. Go back and take a look at it, and this is the details I wish I would have gotten. All right, student. That's my job as a teacher, is to give you the details that I feel like would have helped me along the way, and hopefully you'll find even more and pass it on to your students. Okay. All right. I wonder who that was. All right. So now we have to go. I want to address at least two more postures, and the next one that you're going to find, especially in jiu-jitsu, is the smashy guy. All right. And so the smashy guy just kind of lowers his level, and he's on top of me, and he's driving forward into me. There's no real conscious idea of what's happening here, and he's just smash, smash. All right, I'm new to jiu-jitsu, and I'm a heavy guy, and so I'm going to use this. The problem with that is that there's a big mechanical flaw in this. All right, you see that? That works because where were my hands when he did this?
On the inside.
On the inside. So as he moves forward, my hands are still on the inside, which allows me inside access. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, I have gotten this on, mainly MMA fighters are terrible about this, okay? They will come down and then smash over me like, aha. All right, and then I end up here, okay? So what ends up happening in jiu-jitsu a lot of times is they elect not to move forward, okay? And so we end up playing this game a lot, all right, where I'm on the inside still, but he's waiting for me to make a mistake, like something like this, and all of a sudden he's got his underhook, and now I'm, sad face, okay? So what the next response is, so he lowers his level and he moves forward, okay? You see what my left elbow's doing here?
Right.
Will he ever be able to move past that?
No.
If he breaks my humerus, alright? If you break a humerus with forward pressure from half guard here, your opponent had osteoporosis. Okay? Like bad. Not even like, it had to be advanced osteoporosis. Not even, yeah. Yeah, dig my grandma kind of shit. So he moves forward, and I do this. Now I'm patient here because a lot of brutes, especially, they're like, I know how to get around this. I'll just go over it. You see that? Okay. This is a threat that he has to deal with here. So one of the two responses to this frame here is that first they try to drive through it, okay, which is mechanically impossible. Next, they'll try to come over it and say, ha, your frame doesn't work. Well, it did. It did exactly what I wanted it to do. You see that? Okay. And from here, we will be talking about what is available in this position later on this week. Okay? All right? All kinds of things. All right? So a very low posture. If he goes past my elbow, all right, in a very low posture, all right, if he drives forward, he's going to easily allow me the underhook. Okay? If he stays low and tries to control my hips, like jiu-jitsu guys do here, like hips, everything's hips. All right? There's no moving forward here. Okay? He can try to move forward as much as he wants.
but he has to deal with this frame. Okay, does that make sense? So I want you to get into this position, all right? And I want you to stay on the inside, and he's gonna drive into your elbow. And some of them will do it naturally. We'll just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go past it. Okay? I need that in your system because when you get into this position, he's elected not to give you any space. He's elected to smash on top of you here. Okay? I don't want him to be able to smash on the inside. Okay? Now I don't have very good ways of dealing with this. But if I keep this frame in between me and him, he may even push me across the mat here if he's super strong. Okay? But the distance between me and him has not changed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay? It cannot change until he deals with that frame properly or I make a mistake. Okay? Does that make sense? So get into this position. I need you to feel this because there's a lot of free underhooks out there that we don't take because we don't understand this concept. Does that make sense? All right, let's do that, and then we can hit that last posture. Okay. Huge detail, guys. I wish I could. I'd say everything was important, but this is one of those things that's like uber important. Now you're doing the posture we're going to cover, and that is moving over that way, and we're going to talk about that. Not you guys. Okay. Sorry. You're like, I don't need all nerd bullshit.
I think I might go just get my arm across the face.
Yeah, that's what I was telling them. I said for him, I want to see him like really exaggerate that overhook.
Yeah, please. Pretty please. We're gonna probably do that tomorrow. Is talk about that underhook into
Fundamentals.
So this is.
That's what I mean. It's all together. I wish I grew up in Mark was, yeah.
You don't give me your legs.
Fun as a month.
I can lock it up.
Yeah, that's the same thing if they're trying to drive through jail.
Because you know, it's like a building up, so I lock it and then.
I'm a real Smith.
So that's pop. So I. This pop. If he brings it to the side, it's gonna be a final pop. That's all.
Yeah, that's
Yes. What they're electing to do there is try to hide that space from you. You see what I'm saying? We're going to talk about this next.
I'll sit up and I'll try to go to the front and walk and like.
Yeah, free. So this is the deal. Julian is actually trying to help you here without knowing it. He wants that leg off his leg, but you don't want that leg there either. So come up, continue to come up here. If he doesn't have your elbow, you are on top. That leg is what's keeping all of y'all from actually making up top. You're more worried about that part than the other part.
Like if,
I can't know either because you're trying to keep the leg off here.
I was right at playing. I was moving really fast. And then grab his arm.
the race is for you to beat your knee. So then they end up with covers on.
Hey, remember guys, this is a drill. Right. We don't go live until we roll, so there's no need to like gouge eyes and shit on the drill. You're trying to be, you're just, look, I want realism too in training, but we have to get the mechanics first. Very common, thing. There are times when we're like, hey, this is live, and then you're throw up hands and then go. But get the mechanics first.
If I have to,
Yeah. Get up.
That way.
I think that's one of these steps was my fault. So then I saw you really paying attention to he's digging it. So it's the same thing.
Right.
All right, guys, let's hit this last posture. Let's hit this last posture. So tonight's not about the underhook. Tonight's not about what I can do with these different things. Tonight is acknowledging that circumstances will be in flux, and I have to be able to know that things have changed so that I can respond to them appropriately. The word half guard kind of limits you into, well, that's because his legs are like, the variations are infinite, okay? And I'm giving you some of the best common reactions to deal with that. Okay, so, meaning I have to be able to recognize if I've kept the knee line. I have to recognize if he's giving me a lot of space, and I have to recognize when he's trying to push into me. All right, because the response to those things are opposite, literally. Okay, and so I also, this last one is the one that kind of gets people really messed up because it's subtle, but it's something that people will do naturally once they realize how powerful that underhook is, right? And so they want to continue smashing. They want to continue being in a dominant position here. And anyone on top, I consider in dominant position. All right, I'm not saying that you're going to guarantee victory here, but if I had a choice, I'd be on top. Okay, because then I can punch you in the mouth. All right, so what happens here is if he knows now, okay, let's say he's rolled me a couple times, he knows that every time he gives me space, I do what? I go right into butter half, and he's like, God damn it, that's how I get leg locked all the time. All right, so now he comes down and tries to smash me, and he comes over my frame. He's like, God damn it, that's how he gets the fucking underhook every time. All right, and now when he comes down and holds my hips in that really low posture, he's like, well, I can't move forward, so this sucks. Okay, and turns out he finds a way to wedge right in there anyway. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay? So, the final answer for a lot of people, and it becomes a natural, I don't have to teach this, is that they take their spine offline here. Okay? If I don't acknowledge that, if I try to go, even though I'm on the inside here, if I try to go for this underhook on the other side, I'll never get it. Never, ever. Okay? If I try to do all the things that I've done so far, it won't work. And so this position confuses a lot of people. Is it confusing because it's complex? No, it's because it's subtle and we don't recognize it as a change in the mechanics. All right? So my rule of thumb is always stay on the inside, but I'm also going to frame on this side. Why? Because it's going to stop forward progress here. Okay? All right? That other underhook could become available if he's like, I can't move forward here either, so he switches back his posture, which is very common, and I end up getting the underhook, so I'm patient with this frame. If I have somebody who's like, well, I'm up on points, or I don't care, as long as he doesn't leg lock me, I'm fine, all right? I do have options here, and they will involve reinforcing this under, all right? Or, and do not go down this rabbit hole yet, all right? It's turning this into an octopus guard, okay? It exists, but I don't want to talk about it right now.
I can't.
I tried it and it worked fine for me.
So, that's up good, so.
I know. So, again, what am I doing? I'm not doing anything different except acknowledging that my underhook's not going to be there. If he continues to drive forward over the frame here, what naturally happens to his posture?
He goes back to the
That's correct. Okay? But if he stays here, I'm not going to try to get that underhook anymore. All right? A lot of times, I'm going to be able to turn this into something else. All right? And you could, yes. The Kimura right here is absolutely available. It's also a good way to get your arm blown out. But somebody knows if he keeps it in his hip, he elevates here, and he pulls my arm out underneath here. All right, it'll blow my arm. So I don't teach this one a lot because you got to be the stronger guy here.
Alright, because if he tried to do it to me, because guy's a weak bitch, alright, then I'll get away with it. Does that make sense?
In some cases, strength.
That's a joke. He just outstrength me, actually. I had to put frames in to save my life there. I didn't want to look like an idiot. But he's actually stronger than me, damn it. So in this position, a lot of big guys do this. I used to use this a lot. It's called the Kimura trap. All right, it's a whole nother fucking rabbit hole. I don't want you to go down right now. But I would rather you learn how to frame and then eventually turn this into even better stuff. Does that make sense?
Awesome.
So the response is the same here. The response is the same. I swallowed half my dip, okay? So, alright,
You gotta lift more, so.
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
no.
It feels nasty here.
Well, I got rid of the mop because it does smell better.
it's y'all.
Yeah, look, guys, people, we're in a closed space here, so, wash your bodies for me, alright?
Wash your bodies real clean.
Yeah, real clean. I like them clean. What was that movie where he's sitting here like digging in his belly button? Oh, Dodgeball?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, dig in there, nice and deep. Alright, so, yeah, he's like, yeah. Alright, so that's, look, there's more postures. I'm gonna give you an honorable mention here. But,
Oh, it's in Julian's bag. Well,
yeah, I got you a
it
friend.
can,
Alright,
it can live forever if it wants to.
That is the main postures I want you to think about. Some of the more extreme things you see out there.
Oh, see
is,
breeze.
they'll come in and they'll actually switch all the way over to the other side here. As long as I keep my frames in place here, they call it twist or side once he plops his hips down. I don't let him underneath my elbows, and there's a lot of things that I can end up doing here that are not worthy
I've been standing here
today. Okay, but know that it exists. You can see in the video, maybe down the line. All right, and there's a couple more postures that you'll run into, but we'll deal with those as they come. Okay, I've given you the main sauce. Let's drill this last one. It's alignment. Remember, it's just awareness I want. It's not the mechanics of what to do. That's what this week's going to be about. But yes, so real quick, right? He moves. He's here. You see that far side underhook is gone. I'm not. The last one I was on this shoulder. He felt that and moved to the other side. I'm still going to frame him. It's going to allow me to do something. I just need to stop the rail and move forward. That makes sense? Okay? That's it. The big thing is being aware that that's happened. Because if I try to do the same things here, I'm going to end up getting snatched. Did you hear me? Yes.
Oh, and I went up and I was like, if I just like do this, it's like,
I just did the full turn.
no bullshit. I know, she just like, it's funny, she just
Literally.
He just disappeared into the room.
See you later.
Into the wall. It was so funny.
That's funny.
Take the leg box.
No, look, it's something that
like,
you do, but you see what? Okay. Alright, so there's something that's like that. We're gonna address it, fuck it. Alright, so, watch this. This is really advanced, alright? So, I get to this position, he turns his hips. The big thing is don't let him under the elbows. Alright, the second thing is this space is now open. You see what I did there? I went to a butterfly hook. From here, I'm
I was like, but you're right. I was like, but you can
and then
definitely
bring my
do
leg
that.
through.
And if
Now, in
it's
real
super
life, he's not gonna give me his back. He's gonna turn
Perfect.
into me. Alright?
Okay. Like, but you can't keep asking me. If you ask me, like, I already get
Well, a lot of times.
I was like, I can't make it happen.
That's
twice.
driving bunker to bunker with me.
Really advanced, I have to teach you a lot
So
more
it's
to
just,
make it
she's
work.
like,
Okay?
okay, I'll,
Make
trust
sense?
me. How would you?
Alright. Called the back step pass. It's really popular with the solo types. That's how they do it. Okay. Alright. Get this last one. It should only take a second because you're just moving from one shoulder to the
Same
next
thing
and
when
then
we're
we'll
in
roll.
class, because it is important. And I was like, for y'all.
Enter my
I
door.
said, for you. She's like, cool.
Sweet.
Yeah, so she was like, she loved that, so I'm just starting to take her off to the side a little bit.
What was one of the jokes we did the other day?
Okay.
She keeps going, so there's no way for me to do the bow and arrow?
Oh, you
no
said
need-
that.
She, I know.
No, but there's a lot of other things we can do to choke people with that big stuff.
Oh my God. You value that. See how he naturally comes on top of it? Let him, because if he keeps coming on top of it, alright, eventually that becomes available, or the other side on the other side. Don't follow you, don't.
Get your elbow there.
So that's not here, the frame comes, these are here.
Because remember, for me to really effectively punch you,
Sometimes I'll actually hear, like this is an elevator all the way up, give you all the space to put it up.
really get it.
All right, guys, let's roll. But I'm gonna give you a quick summary here. None of these positions, none of these postures are gonna be static. Meaning they're not gonna go and then pick one and then do only that one. And it's going to be back and forth, smash, smash. All right, trying to confuse you until you set up a control that ends all that mess. Okay, does that make sense? All right, guys, let's roll. And remember, don't have your kids hostage or anything, so you don't have to kill your partner. You can learn.
All right, coach, I think we're about to split.
If you have an injury, I suggest drilling.
What is injury?
What does injury mean?
I don't drill.
Just like a yeah, the cool kids have over there.
Hey, if you need to, you can put a fire extinguisher if it's serious. You also might have a frog in your bag.
I gotta check my mouthpiece. I was like, what if I just go?
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
man, this stuff freaking
I'm rolling.
comes so damn
Got
low.
rolling.
It's like 6, 5, 6, 10 of them.
Is that it?
I'm still on shift, so.